We're there, and that is meteorologist Colleen Campbell. Happy,
hello.
What is it, Friday afternoon.
TGIF.
Man, what a week it has been.
Woo, woo.
We do have a weather impact alert. It actually is for tomorrow, and it's not a big deal. It's not severe weather, but it's a lot like what we saw this morning, Colleen, and that was a ton of rain.
Yeah, lots of rain and a couple of nice booms of thunder. It sounded like the gods were having an intense game of bowling up there.
Bowling ball, exactly
Yeah.
right, yes. So our thing here at 10 Tampa Bay with the weather impact alerts, what that is that's our way. You see the forecast all the time, right? 7-day forecast, all that stuff. This is our way of saying that day and that day and that day you need to keep an eye on the weather because it's a little bit different than normal. So for instance, this morning, my kids this week, Colleen, decided, well, last week, I guess, first week of school, they now want to ride their scooters and bikes to school.
Oh,
We're
yep.
like, okay, you're getting older, like, okay, that's fine. Be careful, watch out for the cars, all that kind of stuff, but also consider the weather. And today I said, look, guys, you got to get out the door. There's rain coming.
And it's a weather impact alert day.
It's a weather impact alert day.
Dad called it.
But you should make it, and they didn't make it. So then I got a call saying, can you bring some new clothes? I'm like, you need a shirt or something? No. Shirt, shorts, underwear, socks, they needed the whole 9 yards. They got soaked. So that's kind of what this is. Because, you know, even if you're not dealing with the kids at school, you have a morning commute. And that's going to be a little bit longer. And so that's why we issue these tomorrow and Sunday mornings, both mornings. We will have some rain coming in off of the Gulf. And obviously we don't have the school issues on the weekend, but you do have your outdoor plans. You got a lot going on. And so that's why we've issued that there. Now, we will talk about that. I wanted to talk tropics just kind of out of the bat to put a bow on Hurricane Erin, if we shall.
Yeah, it looks like she's post-tropical now. Woo!
See ya.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Bye, Erin. Although amazing that it was such a big storm. I mean, it is still bringing a lot of convection, but and it never made landfall. I'm just blown away by that.
Amazing. And Dexter did the same thing.
Yeah.
Up and out in between Bermuda and North Carolina, and then not making, this landfall is a technical thing with the very center. Although, obviously got a little bit of weather up there in Halifax and St. John's, even Bermuda did. But that is post-tropical, so we don't have to track that bad boy anymore. You can see they do have one last cone going for it out here to the north and the east, but that is it. And it will become actually a fairly sizable, I mean, it just got bigger and bigger anyways. But now it's going to be a fairly sizable North Atlantic storm. And we always say it's a fish storm, but it does affect marine traffic and the shipping lanes. And so they will have to work their way around that.
Going across the pond there.
Across the pond. Across the pond. All right. So here's what else we're looking at. Now, really good chance that this system develops. It's up to 90% now. But, and this is 90L, I think is what that one is, right? That's 99. Yeah. But look where it's going. I mean, there is, I know it's tough to see, that's Bermuda right there, okay? So this thing's gonna be very close to that. It's a small system. It's gonna develop as it's pulling away. So that is not a threat for us. This one looks a little bit better today. It is coming further to the west, and that particular track is something that we would wanna watch because obviously it could get closer to us. Earlier today, I was thinking, oh man, that looks pretty good, but not as great right now.
Not so much, yeah.
Let's start over here. This is 90L. And you see a little bit there.
Flaring up a little bit, yeah.
It's really kind of tough to see.
Yeah. It seems like it's still very disorganized. You just have those storms that are kind of flaring up as it moves its way northward, which would be great. Now, some of the global models do have the intensity going up to a Category 1 once it does form. But right now, it seems like it's having a hard time getting its act together there. Yeah,
I'm bringing in, it's the reason why this is blue here is I'm bringing in the visible satellite, and it's taking a lot longer than it should, that's for sure. There we go. You can see a little bit of it out there. Just getting in some pieces. The reason why we do this is infrared satellite, which we were showing you before, is looking at temperatures in the clouds.
Yeah.
Okay, and the clouds near the surface of the ocean are not that far off in temperature, especially the low-level clouds. Okay, you go up, it gets hot, it gets cooler the more you go up generally, and so those clouds are different than the surface. But when you're looking at visible satellite, you can really see those low-level clouds, and you can see if there is a little swirl there underneath of that, and that's really tough to tell. Very tough to tell right there. So is it organized enough for them to give it a depression status? No, not at this point. I don't think it's anything that we would need to worry about there. All right, so that's another view of it. This is the one in the central Atlantic. This is 99L. And Colleen, that one looked a lot better earlier.
Yeah, I think that one's going to have some trouble there, especially as it moves off to the west and starts to interact with that land. Although I am surprised some of the models are bringing it a little further west than what they originally were. But that would be something that we would watch, you know.
I'm doing this again, sorry, while you're talking.
It goes west. You know, when we have these systems that form so far south and they are on the weaker side, we do pay closer attention to those because generally they do take more of a westward direction.
Yeah. And look at this. I mean,
a little bit more of a spin than AL90.
You can see it right in here. There's a center right in here, looks like. Watch right in there.
Yeah.
See that right at the end?
Yeah, definitely looks a little better than AL90 at this time.
And it has what we call a central dense overcast. I mean, is this a depression? Probably not, but it's definitely something that they're going to look at. And what's ironic is that one has a 30 to 40% chance of developing. They've actually lowered those chances. This went by on me too fast here. Let's run this out. This is a European model. 90L is the one going north. You can see that. Okay, that's not going to be an issue. You can see that. That's right up here. All right, this is 99 down here. And you don't see, I mean, let me back this up. See all the circles at the top under the word Friday? That's Erin. And you see all those white lines going around it? That's lines of pressure, right? You don't see that for either of 90 or 99L. You don't see the pressure lowering, at least a whole lot according to the European model. So that's indicating that there's a wave there, but not really developing.
Yeah, where the graphic that we have, Bobby, that has the pressure, kind of just focuses on the pressure a little bit more and doesn't really show the rain.
Yeah.
Very hard to see. We were looking at it last night, Ross and I, and you know, you see a little notch or something trying to form, but you know, your eye is more drawn to that area of high pressure, just sprawling out, which is helping us. But yeah, it's, I mean.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
We're looking at the very bottom of your screen here. And
yeah.
Well, I'd point it out, but there's nothing to point out, like she's saying. That's the whole point.
And it was the same thing last night. It was kind of like there was a little kink at one point in time, and that was about it.
So if you use the, just looking at this version of the model, it's easier just to track the moisture associated with it.
Yeah.
And that way you can actually, and I've highlighted here for you, but that way you can see where the actual wave is, and you can also see that it's not developing. So there are a couple models that try and do something with it in the Central Caribbean. I mean, the chances for development are coming down, but I'm still surprised that they still have the extended chance higher than the nearby chance. And so that's saying that they probably don't think much is going to happen out here, but later out here is a better chance. So that would be Tuesday of next week. I'm glad to pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Colin, you're not going to know that one.
I don't know.
No, Popeye, old school Popeye. I'm old school. 90L. Here it is. That's the one that's going to the north. There's Bermuda, right where the M is in Bermuda. Okay. So it has the center going just to the right of that, or at least most of the modeling does. That would be good if it does.
Yeah.
Winds right now 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, unlike Erin was to the west side of Bermuda, and it looks like most of these models have this system, if it does form, to the east side of Bermuda. So Bermuda will get rain splashed on them from the other side and have those winds. You know, Erin, we were worried about Bermuda because they were on that dirty side where they could have some more severe weather. But Erin, the track, everybody kept talking about how the track was going to turn and hit the U.S. And I was so sick of all that, Bobby. It's like, I'm done. Yeah, but the Euro, it did take more of a little bit of a westerly jog, which that's not abnormal, but you know, it did kind of spare Bermuda. It wasn't until really last night that Bermuda was even under that tropical storm warning. And this system, again, it looks like it will kind of be more easterly of Bermuda. I
mean, this one they'd have to probably pay a little bit closer attention to. Erin got so big that Bermuda was going to get scraped by that wind profile no matter what, just because it was so large. But not the bad wind, right? Just tropical storm force winds. This one, a little bit closer. So even if it does spread out just a little bit, it's going to show that it's a little bit closer to the island, and so you might have a little bit more of a wind. But if it goes to the east, that's on the west side, which has less wind and weather usually. So we'll just have to see
I
what
would
it looks
be
like.
just because Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic had so much wind from Erin. You know, that's something to watch too over the next 24, 48 hours if the system does try to form. You know, bringing that extra wind on an area that was already kind of wind battered, at least the northern coast. We had that video of that pier collapse in Puerto Rico. So that's something
Yeah.
to consider too when it comes to
Good deal.
AL 90.
All right, this is 99. This is the second wave coming in. You can see where it is now. There's Barbados right about in here. This one's tougher to see, but see all these little letters down in here in this area? Those are the name of the models. Each one of those lines is a different weather model. All right, and a lot of these letters are in here because that's where the model thinks this thing dies out. Right, now some of these think it gets out this far, this far, this far, this far, but a lot of them have it kind of dying out in here once it gets into the Caribbean. There's lots of a ton of dry air on top of this thing. There'll be a little bit of shear, not a whole lot, but a little bit of wind shear. So we're thinking it does go off to the west-northwest, and obviously this is something we would watch because it could curl up, right? But most of the modeling takes it off to the west. And keep in mind, the weaker it is, the more west it will go. If we get something starting to develop in here, we'd have to watch for it coming further to the north. Because the weaker systems generally just follow the regular trade wind pattern, which is from east to west down there across the Caribbean. Right? Once it starts organizing and making its own little weather, now it's kind of like more like of a bobber floating around out there, and it'll float around high and low pressures. And so that's what it's trying to do. So right now, we're not concerned about this. That is really good news. We're thinking that that's okay. And then if we go out, let me find my other one, where I put this one. That's for the next week when you're talking about what the Hurricane Center says. And we have another one that goes out 2 weeks. And now, because of where we're at in time on the calendar, that's going to take us out to the first week of September. And not quiet, but, pretty typical. September,
Are you talking about the CPC one?
Yeah, and I'm trying to find it on here. September 10th is the statistical peak.
Yeah.
And that pretty much shows up on that one. I can't find it.
Yeah, I remember looking at it last night. The first or second week of September.
There it is.
We had that. Yeah. So Pacific, and then the main development region, and
Yep.
moving into the second, and then after that, it starts to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, and what interesting thing about that is it does get into this area here, the Western Caribbean. And when you get something in here, they can come up or they can go out to the northwest.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. So that's something for us to watch right there. So that takes us out through September 9th, obviously the 10th is statistical peak. But anything this time of year, because we're in the heart of it, you want to watch that.
Yeah.
So look, if we're going to stay busy and not have to deal with anything that comes right to us, we'll take that, right? We'll take that all day long, something we don't have to deal with. All right, let's talk local weather now. We'll shift gears here a little bit. We had a ton of rain out there this morning.
Yeah.
So the morning commute was a little bit soggy, but the afternoon commute's going to be a lot better. That looks much better here as far as that goes. And still
Even
don't
the East
think,
Coast is starting to shape up. They really had some severe thunderstorm warnings. Anybody that's been joining us on these streams, our friends in Jacksonville by now, at least you should if you're a loyal watcher. And they've been on the air covering those severe thunderstorm warnings. So Bobby's moving up to the north so you can see that area. Look at all of that. So that's all the rain that we had over on our side earlier this morning. It went right across the peninsula as expected. And some stronger storms out that way.
and I don't see anything severe now, but they
looks
did
like
have
it
severe
calmed
thunderstorm
down.
warnings for a while.
Yeah.
Good for them. Now, the issue, in fact, let me show you this. Let's go back 12 hours. Look at the Crystal River. They've seen 3 to 5 inches of rain today. Look at all those heavier showers and storms coming in there. And you see how this is a westerly flow, right? It's all moving in off of the Gulf, and then it flares up and moves over to the East Coast, and then things calm down. Well, tomorrow morning, this is going to happen again. And Sunday morning, this will happen again. And the reason why is we have a stalled frontal boundary off to the north. Look at this thing. And not too atypical, for this time of the year. But when you get this, you get that west to southwest flow.
Yeah.
And as long as that thing is sitting there, it's going to be like that. And it looks like now we will keep this type of wind through Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we get back to those winds coming in from the southeast, which means the storms are in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening hours, and they come back towards the west coast.
Yep.
So we're in an opposite pattern, and we'll keep that opposite pattern through Tuesday, although I think the better rain chances, that other than today was probably the best. Tomorrow, a little less on Sunday, a little less on Monday, a little less on Tuesday. But we still keep those rain chances. But that's the reason why we have that weather impact alert. We had some pretty good showers in parts of Pinellas and Hillsborough. Right now, most of that is drying out. You can also see as you get into Manatee County, Sarasota, we actually haven't had as much rain down south today. It's been a little bit on the drier side, but we're going to continue to see those showers and storms offshore. And I think, and Colleen, I was looking at the models, some of these probably hold together and get in here later tonight.
Yeah, you know, last night I was saying that during our 6:30 show. Don't be surprised if you see something spring up around 10, 11 o'clock, especially close to the coast, west of I-75. There's plenty of moisture out there. We still have that west-southwest wind. Now, the winds do get lighter as we move into the overnight hours, but the problem with some lighter winds, that's where you get those slow-moving downpours. So you definitely could see another pop come, you know, later on tonight. Don't be surprised by that. But yeah, getting back to the weather impact alert, anybody that's used to our typical weather, this is a little bit of a change up in the pattern, probably your routine. So if you have any plans for Saturday and Sunday, you're somebody that does something every Saturday and Sunday morning, you know, that's why we want to give you that heads up that it will be wetter than what we normally see to start the day. There it is, that weather impact alert. It goes from 7 a.m. to noon. And again, we're just considering, you know, when most people are out and about and when we will see the heaviest of the rainfall. And we could have some, you know, flooding concerns, especially places like Citrus County and Hernando County that had all of that rain today. The ground's saturated. So, you know, the message is still the same. Make sure you have those alerts on your phone. That way, if you do have plans and you get, you know, any kind of alert, it's right there in the palm of your hand, and it's easy.
Great points. I mean, especially when you're talking Hernando and Citrus, because they've had a ton of rain and they're going to get more, even overnight tonight, but especially tomorrow morning. There will be some rain in the afternoons this weekend. We're only doing our weather impact alert for the first half of the day because that's kind of out of the ordinary, right? Summertime, Florida, we expect afternoon storms, although the bulk of our rain will be the first half of the day, both Saturday and Sunday. Here's the forecast model. So we can watch this. We can go into 6 o'clock tonight, and then there it is. That's what you were just saying, Colleen, about another round firing up 9, 10, 11. This is 11 p.m., and then that falls apart. Now, tomorrow morning, 7:30, starts dry, but there you go. And look, we're Citrus County again.
Yep.
And this is a model run, so this will change a little bit, but nothing has really changed in the atmosphere. So notice that the rain chances are lower in Sarasota, especially southward, even Bradenton, and higher the further north you go. That will not change. So more rain, better rain chances for Citrus and Hernando, a little less for Pasco, a little less for Pinellas and Hillsborough, and so on, heading on to the south. Now watch the afternoon hours on your Saturday. There's 3 o'clock, not terrible. Over on the East Coast it is, right? They're going to have big afternoon storms there. And then 1 or 2 come in the late afternoon, early evening hours. That's about 8 o'clock. So, yeah, we're not talking about a whole lot of rain for the second half of the day. Now, there's Sunday morning, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Here we go again. On short. Look at that. 10 a.m. on Sunday, getting out of church, and it's pouring.
Yeah.
And then 2 o'clock, still raining, and then we get a little break after that.
Yep. Yeah, I always laugh, Bobby, when I went out this morning before work, and you know, it wasn't raining at the time, but I had my umbrella, and the girl at the store, she was like, "Oh, that's really smart of you to bring your umbrella along." I wasn't going to be like, "Well, I'm a meteorologist," but you know, I was like, "Yeah."
Well, good. You know, good for you. I had to go into the office at my kid's school and tell them that I had to bring clothes because my kids got caught in the rain. And they all know me. They had a good laugh.
You can tell
at my
kids
expense.
still, you know, sometimes it just goes in one ear and out the other. So.
Yeah. Well, look, they tried.
You get a pass.
They tried to get there. All right, so that's the weekend forecast. So if you're looking at the forecast for this evening, it is going to be a little soggy, and we just showed you there that later tonight around 10, 11 o'clock, watch for another round of showers and storms. So if you're out and about with your friends, be in somewhere. You know, if you're hopping from place to place, keep that in mind. It's probably going to downpour. Temperatures, this is a cool thing. I mean, we've been in the upper 70s to low 90s, low 80s, all day today because of the clouds and the rain. And the temperature is actually going to warm up a little bit towards about 6 o'clock tonight. I think these are the current temps here. Let's see what they look like.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to leave everybody hanging with that
there we go.
Nice drop in the dew points we have next week?
Oh, yeah. No, I got that. Let me show you that.
It will be short-lived, but it will feel refreshing for a short period of time and lower rain chances.
Look at the difference. 91 in Lakewood Ranch, 81 in Tampa.
Wow.
That's the difference from the clouds. Frostproof at 77.
And water is warmer.
Yeah, that's right. The water came in around 89 degrees. Absolutely right. It is warmer. Where did I put? Let me try and see if I can find that. So explain to them what's going on up north this week. It's hard for me to even talk about it.
Yeah, so we do have a front that's diving in from the north. Now, some of the models are a little bit more enthusiastic about this than others. But what that's going to do is bring us, there we go. So what you're looking at is basically how much precipitable water we have in the atmosphere. And the situation for this weekend, we have an abundance of it, and that's why we have those downpours. But check this out. Here we are Tuesday into Wednesday, and those browns, those reds, that would be drier air starting to nose in. Now, most of this will benefit the panhandle. But we'll be right on the cusp of that. Citrus County, Hernando County, they'll have it more so than Sarasota and Manatee counties would. But it will be a nice little taste. It's not going to be a dramatic change in temperatures. What you're going to feel would be lower dew points, and you'll see less rain for those 2 days. It's not lasting a long time. We're talking 1 to 2 days. And
let's wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on any of that because this is what happens. You know how we have the GFS, we call it, makes those GFS canes.
Yeah.
These hurricanes that end up popping up at the end of the thing. Well, that doesn't happen. And that's the thing that the GFS does. Another thing it does, especially this time of the year, is it teases us. Because we've been through a long, hot, humid summer, and we're thinking, oh, here comes a good cold front. I'm telling you, you're going to see all over the internet this upcoming week of all your friends up north saying how beautiful the weather is.
Oh, yeah.
It's an early season cool down, which some of us might get to experience, by the way, if you're traveling up there. But what it's going to do is bring in temperatures in the 40s and 50s at night for many of the folks in the Northeast, right? Even in the mid-Atlantic, it's going to be cool. But will it get here? It is possible. And this is showing you next Saturday night, all right? And there is the front. So that's basically the drier air, at least just above the surface.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it going to happen? It's possible. It's not. This happens every year. Usually happens in September. We get teased. But that's August 31st. So we're just about there. Usually happens in late September. But if you start looking at the dew points, and this one is the European. The European normally is the one that's correct, and this one keeps us in the mid-70s. It does drop it a little bit.
Yeah.
And remember, we're talking next weekend too, really. So it's a little far out in time. But if you look at, like, say, for instance, this is the GFS model, and look what it does with our dew points here. And that's this upcoming week.
Yeah,
So-
I think it will be a subtle change. But the Panhandle, I mean, if everybody's going up there, or our friends in Jacksonville, definitely will feel a difference. As you get further south, of course, that doesn't apply as much. But
I mean, they've got really nice weather right there now, but,
yeah.
we'll see.
All my friends and family are like, oh my God, we got to cool down. And I'm like, wait till you see what's coming. Yeah.